from legislation that never should have been allowed to live, we'll now pivot to mortgage debt coming back to life. NPR recently put out an article discussing a recent rise in zombie mortgages. Now, zombie mortgages are probably a term you've heard of. You might not know exactly what it is. Essentially, it's mortgage debt that the homeowner thinks was either paid off or forgiven many years ago. And then out of the blue, you start getting calls, letters, people knocking on your door looking to collect the debt. It's stressful because overwhelmingly we're not talking about small dollar amounts here, because not only is there a principal amount that needs to be repaid, but if this was 5-10 years ago, we're talking a whole lot of interest. We're talking late fees. And if the lender has sent it to attorneys, there's going to be attorneys' fees they're going to be going after. So a lot of times these are large dollar amounts that the lender is looking to collect on. And to make the situation even worse for homeowners, a lot of times, overwhelmingly, the person looking to collect the debt is not the original lender who you took out the loan with. So you might have taken out a home equity line of credit with your local mortgage broker 15 years ago, and maybe you went through a tough point at some time, and you had conversation with the lender. We're just going to forgive it, or just refinance it into this other debt. For whatever reason, you thought a certain portion of the debt was going to be forgiven. It doesn't happen. That debt was then resold. Probably not once, probably multiple times over, and the debt holder at this point probably paid pennies on the dollar for the debt. They're now knocking on your door looking to collect $75,000 on a 15-year-old mortgage debt. So it's especially confusing for homeowners because the person looking to collect is not the original loan originator that they had conversations with, and they certainly don't know the company that this person works for either. So it's a stressful time. If you do happen to find yourself in a situation like this, there are some proactive steps you can take. First and foremost, whoever you're calling or whoever's calling you, ask them to send you copies of all of the original mortgage documents. So not just the recorded mortgage, because anyone can have access to that. Essentially, what we're looking to do is we're looking to verify the debt. So not only do we want a copy of the mortgage, that's not special, anyone can pull that, but we want a copy of the note. We want a copy of anything that you had signed at time of origination, while also we're asking for all of the mortgage assignments that allow this company to collect the debt. So if you originated a loan at, let's say, Bank of America, but now Main Street 123 LLC is trying to collect on you, well, you want to make sure that at some point 123 Main Street LLC was assigned the debt, that they have the legal ability to collect the debt, because the last thing we want is for you to get scared into paying a lender debt, but they didn't actually have the legal authority to collect. So we're looking for copies of all of your original loan documents, while at the same time we want to verify that they have the legal authority to collect. So we're looking for mortgage assignments. You're going to want to hire a real estate attorney overwhelmingly to help you with this process. And if it turns out that they do in fact have a legal ability to collect this debt, the real estate attorney would probably be a good person to lean on to help negotiate the actual amount that's going to be owed. Because at the end of the day, they might be looking for $75,000, but if they only paid $5,000 for the debt, you might be able to negotiate that down a little bit. When buying a house, should you be stressed about potentially inheriting a zombie mortgage? Yes, but no. And the reason I say that is because it is a concern that if the current homeowner doesn't know that there's a debt out there, potentially it could attempt to be passed along to you. However, certainly in the state of New York, as part of the home buying process, your attorney, when they're representing you on the purchase, is going to be reviewing the title of the property. And that's going to outline what debts are on there. So it might be, your existing mortgage. It could be if you at some point fail to pay a handyman, right, and they put a lien on your property. When you're purchasing a property, your attorney, so you as the buyer, is going to research the title of the property to make sure that there's no mysterious liens out there. So even if there was a mortgage from, a zombie mortgage, right, from 15 years ago, at this point, your attorney would flag it and say, this is a debt that needs to be repaid. So if there was, again, $75,000, that's $75,000 less that the seller is going to be receiving at time of closing. Instead, it's going to go pay off that lender. So, yeah, you want to be on the lookout to make sure all debts are being cleared out at time of closing. But as long as you have a good real estate attorney that's going to be researching to make sure that there's no mystery debts out there, you should be in good shape. And finally, if you're thinking, this sounds like a really interesting business model, this is something I want to get into. Well, you should have met me 10 years ago because this is very similar to the type of work I was in. I worked for a real estate fund that very similar, purchased non-performing debt. However, our focus was more on vacant land versus residential real estate. However, there actually is a market out there. So for folks interested in exploring non-performing notes, whether it's, again, vacant land, commercial debt, residential real estate, could be first position, could be second position, whatever you're looking for, there's a market out there. No surprise, right? 2024, if you're looking to do something, there's probably someone that would be able to help you do it. So yeah, again, if you're looking to get into real estate, you're looking at different avenues. You don't want to be an investment property owner. You could look at buying notes because that's going to be a bit more hands-off, right? Not so much day-to-day, but would still give you exposure to real estate.